So who raised you?
My aunt and uncle.
And what are their names?
Linda and Todd Stermer.
And did you think of them as your parents?
Yes, I called them Mom and Dad.
At the time of the fire, how old were you?
17.
Can you explain to the jury kind of what the layout of the house, where your bedroom was, where your brothers slept?
So our bedrooms were in the basement. As you go down the stairs, as you turn to the right, we had a kind of a recreational room right there, and then a downstairs living room. And then in the back corner, there were 2 large bedrooms in each corner down there.
And did you share a bedroom, or did you have your own?
I was sharing it with my brother Trevor at the time, and then Trenton's room was right next to that one. They were connected.
Right by each other?
Yep.
And was there a loft area that your dad was working on?
Yeah, so that had just gotten finished. The loft area was Trevor's bedroom.
So that was going to be Trevor's bedroom?
Yes.
But at the time of the fire, were all 3 of you still sleeping downstairs?
Correct.
Do you recall the night before the fire?
Yes.
And had you heard any fighting that night?
Yes, so I had heard a lot of arguing, yelling, and my dad had found out that Linda was cheating on him.
So I can rephrase the question. Do you know what the fight was about?
Yes.
And what was the fight about?
Some objection, Your Honor, based on hearsay.
Unless, does he know from personally observing it, or?
He heard
is
it, Your
gonna
Honor.
And why is it being offered?
Why is it being offered?
The objection is hearsay?
Oh, I can actually ask in terms of what he heard his mother say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let
Could you
Linda
tell me
tell
what
about
you
it.
heard Linda say, what the fight was about?
That night,
Yeah.
so Linda was claiming that she didn't cheat on our dad, and
And then you heard more yelling.
I heard more yelling at that point.
And where were you when Linda and your dad were arguing?
Downstairs in my bedroom.
And you
In
could
bed.
hear it?
Yes, could hear pretty clear.
Do you recall, you said you were in bed?
Yeah.
So do you recall approximately like how late this was?
I can't remember the time.
But you had already gone to bed?
Yes.
Did your brothers also go to bed?
Yep.
All 3 of you were in bed?
Yeah, we went to bed at the same time usually.
Did any of you get up?
No.
But you could clearly hear upstairs?
Yep.
That night that you heard this fighting between Linda and your dad, did Linda come downstairs to the basement?
Not during that night that I know of.
She didn't come down and watch TV?
Not that I know of, no.
She didn't come down and snuggle with you on the couch?
No.
At any time that night before the fire, did you hear your dad come downstairs?
Not that I recall.
Didn't hear him go into the furnace room?
No.
How close was your bedroom to the furnace room?
It basically almost touched it. It was just on the other side of the wall, kind of kitty corner.
Shared a wall?
Yes.
Was the basement 100% finished?
It had just gotten finished. As far as I recall, had just gotten finished, yes.
So you had drywall?
Had drywall.
Did you have carpet?
We didn't have carpet down there.
Didn't have carpet yet?
No.
Did you have area rugs?
I don't remember an area rug.
Was the ceiling finished?
Yes.
Okay. Was it drywalled?
I think it was drywall, yes.
Growing up, did you ever see your parents get physical with each other?
No.
Did you ever see any marks or bruises on Linda?
No.
Do you recall waking up the next morning, the day of the fire?
Yes.
And you were in your bedroom?
Yeah.
And what woke you up?
I was already awake at the time. I just woke up on my own that morning.
Did you hear anything?
I heard somebody walking down the stairs.
And who was that?
Linda.
And then what did she do?
She came into the room, into my bedroom, sat on the end of my bed, and then I sat up, and she told me that I needed to help my brothers get around and get dressed real fast, and she wanted me to take them out to movie and breakfast that morning.
Did she say why?
She told me that they were going to get divorced and they were going to decide how to split everything up.
Did she tell you what this fight was about?
She didn't bring up the fight at that point. She just told me that they were getting divorced and wanted to decide how to split everything up.
And she told you to go where?
She told me to take my brothers out to breakfast and a movie.
Did she give you any money?
Yes, she gave me some money.
Do you remember how much?
No, I can't recall.
So what did you do?
I asked her why we needed to sneak out, and she said that she wanted our dad to think we were still in the basement.
Did she say why she wanted your dad to think that?
Yes.
What'd she say?
She said that if he thought we were still in the basement, excuse me, that they wouldn't argue as much, and that it would be easier to figure out how to get through the divorce stuff that they were going to go through.
So because of that, she wanted you to sneak out?
Yes.
She tell you not to talk to your dad?
Yes.
Did you go out the basement door or or a different door?
No, we went up through the upstairs door.
So when you went upstairs, what did you see upstairs?
I walked upstairs and my two brothers were behind me, and Linda was on the side blocking the living room, and I kind of glanced over there as I was leaving, and I looked like I saw my dad just sitting in the chair with his arm kind of resting on the side.
Did you see his face?
No.
Did you try to talk to him?
I did not, no.
Did you see any of your brothers go and try to talk to him?
Yeah, so Trenton was behind me. He tried to go around her and say goodbye, and she blocked him and wouldn't let him go over there.
And you saw this?
Yes.
So what happened when she was blocking?
I said, Trenton, come on, let's just go. And we both walked towards the door.
What was the common practice at your house as far as talking to your parents before you left?
We would always give our parents a hug and kiss goodbye and tell them that we loved them.
Did you do that every time you left?
Every time, yes. There
So
was a general rule that we couldn't go to a friend's house, we couldn't go anywhere unless we had said goodbye.
You didn't get to say goodbye that day, did you?
No.
Do you remember if there was a fire in the fireplace?
I don't remember.
Do you remember what car you took to the mall?
Yes, we took the black Blazer.
Did your mom come out, did Linda come out and to the Blazer when you left?
I don't recall.
Do you remember how you got the keys?
The keys were already in the Blazer.
Was it common practice for Linda to leave her purse in the car?
No.
Did she ever drive the van?
I don't really remember her ever driving the van.
Is that your dad's primary vehicle?
Yeah, that was his work vehicle.
Do you remember seeing Linda's purse before you left?
Yes.
And where was her purse located?
It was on the counter. When you walked up the stairs, you could see it directly on the counter straight ahead of you. Sorry.
Was that in the kitchen area?
Kitchen area, yes, right at the top.
And you remember seeing it when you walked up?
Yes.
Is that a common place for her to keep her purse?
Yeah, just on the counter up there.
Where did you go in Kalamazoo?
We went to the mall, ate some food, and then we went to a movie.
Did you drive?
I was driving, yes.
Do you remember if the Blazer had a full tank of gas?
I don't remember the amount of gas in there.
Did you get a phone call as you were watching the movie?
Yes.
What was that phone call?
That phone call was from my friend Steven. He lived down the road just a little bit, and he called me and said that our house was on fire.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
I'm not offering it for the truth of the matter, just to only describe why he left the movie and his next action.
I'll allow it for that purpose.
So once you got that call, what did you do?
At first I hung up and I thought he was joking. He was kind of a prankster, and he kept calling my phone and I didn't answer it. And then he ended up calling my brother Trevor's phone and told him that it was serious and we needed to get home.
Did you leave at that time?
Yes, then we left.
Did you head back to your house?
Yes, we went straight back home.
What'd you see when you got there?
Police cars, bunch of smoke coming out of the roof of the house. Somebody had seen us pull up, and I didn't really see too much of anything else. We were put in the back of a cop car.
So you stayed in the police car?
Yeah.
You didn't go up to the house?
No.
And then did you stay in that police car for a while?
Yeah. They told us to wait there until they came back.
Were you aware if Linda had a cell phone?
Yes.
Do you know if she had more than one cell phone?
Yeah, she had 2 phones.
And how do you know that she had 2 phones?
I had seen her use both of them on different occasions.
Did she ever ask you to get any bills or pick up any bills for her?
Yes.
What did she ask you to do?
So she called me and asked me to grab the mail that was going to be on the porch, and there was going to be a phone bill within that mail, and she asked me to hide the phone bill.
Did she tell you who to hide it from?
Yes, my dad.
Did Linda ever talk to you prior to the fire about them divorcing or who you might want to live with?
She had brought it up a couple times.
Do you recall how close to the fire that was?
No, I can't recall.
Do you ever remember your dad working on the furnace in the past while you were living at that house?
No.
Do you ever remember a time when there wasn't heat in the house or that it was cold?
No.
Did Linda ask you to move boxes of photos or any photos out to the shed before the fire?
No.
At your home, did you have a snowblower?
snowblower?
A snow blower.
No, not that I remember. I don't remember a snowblower.
Do you guys have lawnmowers?
We had an old lawnmower.
Was it common to keep gas cans on the property?
Yes.
And where would those be stored?
Either in the shed or in our barn. We made like a barn with overhangs where the tractor and the lawnmower would have been. So
So go
the
ahead.
gas cans would have been with the tractor underneath of the overhang or with it inside the shed there behind the house.
Any reason there should have been a gas can in the front yard?
No.
Did Linda ever talk to you about what happened after the fire?
It was brought up within car rides.
Car rides with who?
My other two brothers.
And what did she say about the fire?
It depended on the time. The stories changed a few different times.
Do you recall what they were and how they changed?
The first time that Trenton asked her about it, she had told us that she was downstairs doing laundry and she heard yelling, and when she looked up the stairs there was too much smoke, and so she ran out the basement door.
And then did the story change?
The story changed a few different times.
What did it change to?
Another time she heard yelling, she ran up the stairs and saw her dad in the living room on fire, and she couldn't do anything because the smoke and the heat was too much, and so she ran out the front door. Another time she ran upstairs and there was too much smoke and she couldn't see anything and ran out the front door.
Did you ever ask her about the differences that she was telling you?
I never did, but my brother Trenton was very adamant about pushing her on her stories.
Did that happen in front of you?
Yes.
What happened when he would push her?
She would start screaming, and one time she pulled the vehicle over on the side of the highway and started slapping him. He was in the back seat. Other times she would just start screaming and crying and saying, "How dare you call me a liar?" And she would tell Trevor to silence him, shut him up, and she would allow Trevor, our other brother, to punch him and physically attack him to keep him, to shut him up.
Did Linda ever tell you what to say prior to you being interviewed?
Yes.
And you were spoken to by the insurance company?
Correct.
What did she tell you before you were interviewed?
She told me that the insurance company's job was basically to try to prevent us from getting insurance money, and they were going to ask us questions, and then she would tell me what the questions would be and how to answer them.
What did she tell you to say?
She said they'll probably ask about our marriage and if we had any issues within the marriage, and you'll need to tell them that there weren't any issues that you ever seen, that the marriage was good and that they were happy together, and if I had ever heard of financial issues, to just tell them that I didn't know, I had never heard of anything.
She asked you then to write out a list of your belongings?
Yes.
What did she say about that list of your belongings?
She had me and my brothers go through it and write out a list of belongings, and she told us that once she got the insurance money that we would get the money back for all of our possessions, so we needed to itemize each thing that we could remember. And so we did this for a few weeks. We'd keep remembering things and we'd write them down, and she would tell us to write down how many you think of something you have, how much you think it was worth, put that amount next to it, and once we got the insurance money, that we would be compensated for all of our belongings that we had on those lists.
And did she say what would happen if you didn't say what she told you to?
She said that we wouldn't get anything. They would just not give us the insurance money, and
And that's why you had to say what she wanted you to say.
correct.
Sustained.
Is that why you said what you said?
Yes.
Did Linda ever tell you where the van was at the time of the fire?
In one of her stories, it was at the bottom of the hill. When she ran out of the basement, she got in the van to go get help. And then another time, it was at the top, where we always parked it at the top. And she had hopped in it to go try and get help.
At the time of the fire, you said you were 17?
Yes.
And did you live then with Linda for a period of time?
Yes.
Did you live with Linda while you were going through these insurance
Yes.
statements? She was your sole support at that time?
Yes.
I have no further questions for this witness, Your Honor.
You're a grown man now, I'll call you Mr. Pierce. I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
I will try to keep this brief. You mentioned, you were talking about keys in the car, remember?
Yes.
In the Blazer. You live in a rural area, obviously, right?
Correct.
It was not uncommon for folks out in the rural areas like you to leave keys in the car, right?
I don't know about other people. We wouldn't leave our keys in the car, though.
You would, right?
No, we wouldn't.
Well, in the Blazer, the keys were there that day, right?
Yes.
Are you aware your dad's wallet was found in the van that day? That was his work van?
No.
You're not aware of that?
I'm not aware of that, no.
You talked about purse, and your mom's purse was on the kitchen, right?
Correct.
It's possible she had more than one purse, isn't it?
It's possible, yes.
Growing up, until Ms. Stermer got arrested in June of 2009, you had a very close relationship with your mom, right?
No.
You didn't?
No.
Okay. You had a close relationship with your dad?
Yes.
You don't like your mom very much, do you?
No.
The cell phone that you said there were two phones your mom had?
Yes.
Okay. One was her own phone and one was a work phone, right?
One was her own phone, and the other, she had told me, was a work phone.
Okay. You believe it was a work phone, and that's what you told the police officers when you were interviewed, right?
I don't recall.
Okay. May I approach, Your Honor? Okay. Show you a police report, and I'm just directing you to page 3. Page 1 was August of 2007. You see that, August 10?
Yep.
That sound about right when you were interviewed? Do you remember being interviewed
By who?
by the police?
I don't remember any interviews by the police.
I want you to read just this little part that's highlighted on page 3. Page 3 of the, yeah, right at the top third. You there?
Yep.
Okay. It says investigating officer also asked if his mother had a cell phone, which he stated she had 2 cell phones, which he identified as one being a regular phone and the other being a work phone. Does that jog your memory?
I guess I would ask if you could please stop testifying and ask questions. Thank you, Your Honor.
Does that jog your memory that that's what he told the officer?
I'll overrule that.
No,
This is okay.
I don't remember talking to the officers about that.
At all?
No.
If you were talking to police officers, you would have been truthful with them, right?
I don't know. If my mom was around, then I'm not sure.
You don't remember if your mom was around or not around?
No, I don't remember the conversation.
Okay. Do you recall, in terms of the cell phone and the cell phone bills, that you would run up the cell phone bill talking to your mom or talking to your girlfriend a lot?
Yes.
In fact, back then, I mean, we have unlimited now, but back then you had limited minutes on family plans. Do you remember?
Yes.
So you and your mom, because you would run up the phone, remember not showing dad the phone bills so you wouldn't get in trouble?
No.
You don't remember that?
No.
And that you would have to pay for part of the bill because you were running up the bill with your girlfriend?
I would have to pay for part of that, yes.
The day of the fire, when you went to the mall, when you saw your dad, you didn't know if he was on the chair or on the couch in the living room, right?
I believe he was on the chair when I saw him.
May I approach, Your Honor? Do you remember testifying at a prior hearing?
Yes.
And I should look at page 150 if you would.
Okay.
Okay. At line 14, you were asked, do you remember whether he was on the couch or in a chair? And your answer was, it was one of the two. I just didn't really see him. I saw his leg, really.
Yes.
Remember being asked that question, now that you look at it?
Yes.
Okay, you were under oath, right?
Yes.
You swore to tell the truth.
Yes.
And your memory would have been better back in 2010 than it is now, 15 years later, right?
Yes.
If you were asked that question, that's the answer you gave, that would have been the truth, right?
Yes.
As far as you knew, he was watching TV.
I can't say that he was watching TV. I don't know.
Ask you to look at line 18, same page. The question was, so he's in there, and as far as you know, he was watching TV. Your answer?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Memory was better then. Yes?
Yes.
You were sworn to tell the truth, and you did tell the truth. Yes?
As far as I know, he could be watching TV. He could have been doing anything, yes.
You did tell the truth.
Yes.
When you were asked by your mom, by Linda, to go to the mall, she didn't seem nervous at all, did she?
She seemed, I wouldn't say nervous, no. I would say more urgent.
She was calm.
No.
No? I'd ask you to take a look at page 158 again. Line 17 to 23. You see that?
Yes.
You were asked under oath back then in 2010, when your mom came and told you and your brothers to go see a movie or go to the mall, she was calm at that time, right?
I would say
Your answer was, yeah, she seemed calm.
Yes.
Next question. She didn't seem upset or excited or scared or angry or anything like that. Is that true? And your answer was right.
Right.
When you were under oath back in 2010, you swore to tell the truth. That was the truth, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I'm sure your dad loved that house, right?
Yes.
Well, your mom loved that house too, right?
Yes.
And you had a cat at the time named Carrie?
No.
You had a cat.
No.
You did not have a cat.
No.
Are you saying the family didn't have any cats?
I don't remember any cats at that time. My cat had been hit by a car before that.
Okay. If you had cats in the house at the time, your mom loved animals, right?
Yes.
Dogs, cats, horses?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Yes.
You don't know if any cats survived the fire, do you?
I don't remember having cats at the time.
Okay. And that morning, your mom had told you that they were planning on getting divorced, right?
Yes.
And they were going to talk about splitting up the property, right?
Correct.
So she wanted you and Trenton and Trevor at least to make it seem like you were in the house so the argument wouldn't be so big and loud, right?
Correct.
That's why she said, look, I don't want you to say bye to your dad because I want this to be calm this afternoon, right? Calmer.
That's what she said. Correct.
And that's not the first time they ever talked about, or your mom or dad ever told you about they might get divorced.
No.
All right. It happened a few times, a couple months before for sure, right?
I don't know the time frame, but before.
Before, and your mom told she might live with her sister-in-law or her stepsister. Remember that?
I don't remember that.
Okay. If you told somebody under oath that, would that have been true?
Yes.
Your Honor, may I approach? I'm going to ask you to read page 25, line 18 to 24.
Read it.
Not to yourself.
Oh, okay.
Let me know when you do. Good.
Okay.
Does that refresh your memory that your mom had told you sometime before that she might go, or you all might go live with her stepsister?
No, I don't remember.
It doesn't jog your memory at all?
No.
If you said that under oath, that would have been true, right?
Yes.
You just don't remember now.
No.
It's been so long.
Right.
Do you recall telling our jury just a little bit ago that you would store gas cans, family gas cans in the shed or the garage? The shed or where? Or the lean-to?
Like
or
a
something?
barn lean-to.
Okay. And it was, you wouldn't store them in the front yard, right?
No.
Or in the front porch or anything?
In front porch. No.
Okay. I'm going to ask you to look at that transcript at page 159 if you would. And look at, should be highlighted, lines 10 through 22. Let me know when you're done.
Okay.
Good?
Yep.
All right. Were you asked, and you were asked about questions about what's on the property, tractors, lawnmowers, those kind of things, right?
Right.
And then you were asked, there were multiple gas cans at the property that were kept either outside in the shed, or sometimes empty gas cans that would be by the front porch. Is that true? And your answer was?
Yes.
Then you were asked the question, and it wasn't uncommon for an empty gas can to be kept there by the front porch area so it could be put in the vehicle and taken to the gas station. Is that right? And your answer?
Yes.
That was true at the time you gave it under oath?
Yes.
In fact, it wouldn't be uncommon for your mom or your dad to take gas to the gas station, right? Or you. Things have to get filled up. True?
True.
Usually it falls on the kids when you get driving age, right?
Yeah.
Now, you said it was not, the van was your dad's work van, right?
Correct.
But if the Blazer was gone, did you have your own car?
I don't remember if my car was working at that time or not. I had a green Cavalier though.
Okay. If it wasn't working and somebody was in the Blazer, let's say you took the Blazer because your car wasn't working, there'd only be a van left, right?
Correct.
So somebody would have to drive the van, and whether it's mom or dad.
Correct.
Certainly mom wasn't prevented from driving the family van, right?
No.
And you testified that the night before you didn't hear your dad downstairs, if he came downstairs to mess around with the furnace, right?
Right.
Because you were sleeping. True?
True.
Right. And you were a student at the time, right?
I would have been in high school, yes.
Okay. So you're gone, you're not at home often. True? You're either at school, maybe you're with a girlfriend, maybe with friends, right?
I went out. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't.
So you wouldn't know if your dad was working on the furnace on any given time if you weren't there.
Correct.
Right? And simply because you didn't hear him doesn't mean he wasn't working on the furnace at some point during the day before, right?
Right.
Or 2 days before.
Correct.
Right? Your Honor, can you give me just 1 minute? When you were in school, did you have buddies?
Yes.
All right. Would your mom come up to school sometimes?
Yes.
All right. And when your mom came up to school, would your buddies all say hi to her?
I really don't understand what the relevance of her going to a school is at this point.
He just said he didn't have a good relationship with his mom. I'm exploring that because I think that they did. Thank you. Your friends all like your mom?
I don't think so. But
Would you hug her when she'd come up to school?
yes.
And your friends would.
What's that?
And your friends would too.
I don't recall.
Okay. I don't have anything else. Thank you.
Ms. Ivey?
Thank you, Your Honor. You said that you were in bed and you heard the arguing the night before the fire, right?
Yes.
And your room borders or shares a wall with the furnace room, you said?
Yes.
So is it fair to say you weren't really sleeping very sound late into the evening?
No, I would have been awake for a little bit.
And you didn't hear anything in the furnace room the night before?
No.
And it felt like you wanted to explain maybe when Attorney Mueller asked if Linda was calm, upset, or angry, felt like you wanted to explain a little bit more. Was there something more you wanted to say?
She was calm in a sense, but she said we needed to hurry, and she wanted us to be quick. She wanted me to get my brothers around quickly and get them out of the house.
Did she tell you when to come home that day?
I don't recall.
Is there anything that your family would have been using a 1-gallon gas can for in January?
I disagree, I'll allow it.
I can't remember. I don't know.
You said there was no snow blower, right?
No.
And it's January, so you wouldn't be using a lawnmower, right?
Form, leading.
All right.
I will sustain as to leading.
Would you be using a lawnmower in January?
No.
Any reason you can think for a 1-gallon gas can to be in your front yard?
I can't think of anything.
I'll allow the last question and answer.
And when you talked to the police, Linda was telling you what to say, is that correct?
I'll allow it for redirect, just to keep things moving.
At the time I was living with her, she was telling me what to say when people would ask me questions. Yes.
And were you living with her when you had to testify at a court hearing?
Yes.
And were you living with her when you had to go through interviews with the insurance agent?
Yes.
Today you're a grown man, right?
Yes.
And she's not telling you what to say today?
No.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
You said when you gave testimony in a hearing that you were living with your mom.
Yes.
You gave testimony in a hearing in January of 2010. You weren't living with your mom. You were living with Amanda. You remember that?
No.
Remember having been incarcerated for a crime and then you were living?
Can you approach, please, Counsel? I'm directing you to strike and not consider that last question in any way.
In the winter, sir, did you use the tractor to haul bales of hay around for the horses?
Yes.
Okay. Tractors use gas.
Yes.
And when you'd have friends over there, you'd have friends over for paintball parties, right, on your property?
Yes.
And your mom would cook breakfast. They'd stay over.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
How big was that tractor?
It was a large tractor. The wheels on it were probably about 4 foot high, I would guess, if I had to.
Did it take more than a gallon of gas to fill it?
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Nothing, Your Honor.
Jury, any questions of him? I've got several. Sir, I have some questions from the jury.
Okay.
Did you have fire alarms in the house?
I can't remember.
Okay. So you wouldn't know of which rooms or if any rooms had them?
No, I can't remember.
Okay. Had Linda ever asked you boys to leave the house when arguing with Todd?
No, that was the first time.
If you know, was there a blanket covering Todd when you and your brothers left for Kalamazoo?
I'm not aware of that. No, I'm not sure.
Was the tractor gas or diesel?
I'm not sure on that.
Okay. Counsel, any questions in light of those questions and answers?
No, Your Honor.
Yes, just go ahead. You were aware sometimes your mom and dad would have some pretty loud arguments,
Yes.
but this was a situation where mom told you, we are getting divorced and we need to split up the property. That's why I don't want you to get real loud, right?
Correct.
And I'm sorry, Your Honor, I didn't hear that last question of something about tractor and gas.
Whether it was gas or diesel?
Oh, do you know?
I don't know.
Okay. No more questions, thank you.
Anything else?
She had talked to you about them getting divorced several times before that day, hadn't she?
Yes.
And this was the first time she'd ever asked you to leave.
Correct.
No further questions, Your Honor.
This is the first time she said, we are getting divorced. Before it was general talk, right?
Before it was general talk. Yes.
This day was, we are getting divorced and we need to split up the property and I don't want
Yes,
you.
it was asked and answered at this point, Your Honor.
No?
One more
Last
time.
question. And that's why I want you to leave, right?
Yes.
Thank you.